Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got the new Japanese commander, I think his name is Matsui Ijuin, and we're in Gokaze here on Riposte. It is a domination match. All right, so here's a look at the teams. We are down tier. There's one tier 6 destroyer on each team, and there are aircraft carriers. So it'll be a good test. So if you're not familiar with Matsui Ijuin, he's a free, I'm probably butchering that name, free commander that you can get through the calendar earn-op, which is over, but you can go back and unlock some of those days if you want to finish it off. Basically, he helps the torps of whatever ship he's in more stealthy. We'll go over the commander screen at the end. So essentially a little more torp emphasis and a little less gun emphasis in this review of Gokaze. All right, so let me, while we're waiting to find the enemies, yesterday I was just minding my own business at a doctor's appointment, went to the doctor, came home, the doctor's like, yeah, you fat slob, you need to lose some weight. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to have one last bad meal. So I had it's not even a good one. I had microwave pizza. And then I had some Ben & Jerry's because it was on sale. And on my third bite of Americone Dream, I shattered my right bicuspid. And my left bicuspid is already cracked. So I called my dentist. He was like, because America is a capitalist country and you pay a lot for your insurance, I can fit you in this afternoon to repair your tooth. And the funniest thing was the receptionist is like, how did you break your tooth? And I said, I was eating some ice cream. And she was like, what? You broke your tooth on ice cream? And I was like, yeah, sorry, lady, that's what happened. So anyway, I got a one-day crown. The tooth is still messed up. It's really only a matter of time before it breaks all the way. So my advice to anybody, don't get a root canal. Skip the root canal, go straight to extraction, which is much cheaper, and then get an implant if you have the insurance for it. Ancient Egyptians carved seashells and used them as tooth implants when their teeth fell out. All right, that's enough worthless bullshit. So we fired some torpedoes out there, didn't really do anything. Got some meaningless hits on some ship that disappeared, so that didn't really mean anything either. Here we are scoping out the enemy ships, and we're probably going to end up torping here at Bayern, if I'm remembering what happened correctly, simply because there weren't a lot of other ships in range. These are turning torpedoes. I think they can mostly only turn in the arc before they arm. And obviously we don't care about that. We want them to go straight and hit this Bayern, who just ate a bunch of torpedoes. And there's a Dallas over there too. But the Bayern is our target. Again, these cruisers have really nice HE. I would use it early and often. And same thing with the torpedoes. Fire the torpedoes as soon as they become available if you have a target ship or you can screen, because you need to get as many hits as possible with these torps, in my opinion, to make it all worthwhile. All right, continuing to shoot at Bayern, who is not shooting at me, mostly because we're behind an island right now, and that is all well and good. Continuing to fire, is he going to get hit with torpedoes? Yes. And there's our first kill. See, I know when I launched those, you guys were like, that Bayern's not going to get those torpedoes. Oh, yes, he did. So fire them. Give yourself a good aim and shot. Give yourself a chance to let these torpedoes get the work done here. First kill, we got 35,000 damage. Got some other ribbons, some green flags that are always good for XP. All right, we got one of the 3 caps, so we're going to have some work to do here on this match. We're tied with the enemy in terms of ships, but we are losing by about 130, 120, 130 points. I'm just trying to get an enemy ship in range at this point to use my guns. Here's one lone torpedo that forces me to cleave pretty close to the island. And it's a good thing I did, because that would have hit me. Checking out, what is it, a Warspite over there. We're going to torp one rack into the middle in case the Warspite turns in. Spotted by the Mahan. We're going to turn and get these guns on target and start shooting that HE out at them. And as you can see, something these cruisers do really well is damage destroyers. So by all means, whenever you get the opportunity to Hulk smash a destroyer with your HE, I mean, we didn't get that kill, but we set that guy up on a silver platter for our teammates. Smash those destroyers, especially with this ship. Second rack out on Warspite. We'll just see what happens there. I see the carrier planes. They're not close enough yet for me to use my DFAA. Here's a really annoying Dallas hiding behind the island. He goes dark right before I can shoot at him. So I'm like, come on, stick your nose back out, Dallas. Well, he is not going to do that for a little bit. We're turning in. He sets me on fire again. I mean, I have to give kudos to the guy. He played this about as well as you can play it, I think. You know, he set me on fire a couple times, maybe burn a damage con. He's got an airplane up. He can see me. I can't shoot at him. Really kind of a helpless feeling in this scenario. Why aren't I using my torpedo launchers? Oh, maybe they need to be reloaded. All right, so we're going to turn in here to avoid the island. And rear turret swiveling around again. Still waiting for the Dallas to show his face. Here it is. We're going to fire out that HE. We were ready for him. And we're going to hit an island. But we set him on fire. He immediately damage cons. We're going to fire again while he's still visible. He sets me on fire. But we finish him off for our second kill. All right. We got those torps reloaded. I'm immediately going to fire them into the gap. Screening. I'm not in any belief that they're going to hit the Matsui over there, but I am going to light up the Matsui. Matsui. Spam Matsui. Look at that. I made up a name for a show. I'm going to keep firing the HE at Matsui simply because I want to kill him. And there's another fire. I mean, I hate to say it. These cruisers are really great at being annoying fire spammers. And because the Matsui helpfully crashed into this island, we're going to keep lighting them up. My goal is to get out here on the California. Failing that, I will continue to engage. We don't have the Matsui anymore up. I know you're saying KPZ, there's open cap circles. Don't you want to cap them? No. No, I do not. We have a destroyer. If that destroyer doesn't do his job, then perhaps I will do it, but not right now. All right, a teammate kills the California. And so I'm just going to try to come around the mountain here and get back on the Matsui. Was there something else I was going to talk about in regards to this game? I can't think of it. But I also have another game in the Mono. Is that the tier 6? Whatever the tier 6 is, I got a match with this commander as well. So that will probably be next week. I also finished the campaign. I have the Carl 14 Johann, an entirely made-up ship that I decry the existence of. We set the Matsui on fire again. More HE spamming in. And our team has got the upper hand. Clearly, we're opening up the lead. We have a 2-ship lead now. So all those cap circles are not going to help them. That swarm of torpedoes moving in on the Matsui. And when we get around the side of this island, hopefully, he will be dead. And I'm like, how could he have dodged all those torpedoes? Well, he did. Somebody left him on a little bit of life, and we are going to finish him off for our third kill. All right, I had to hesitate there. I wasn't sure I actually killed that guy. All right, so we have a commanding lead now. We've almost drawn even on the points because we're great at murdering the enemy ships. We're about to see a bad part of maybe this build, or maybe the Gokaze as a ship. One of the remaining ships is a carrier. The other is a destroyer who is way down the corner of the map, killing our aircraft carrier. So I'm trying to signal to our carrier player, hey, you need to search over here with your airplanes. And this guy seems really dumb. He's intent on the last known location of the carrier, when clearly the carrier is not there anymore. And maybe if I was being smart, I would have looked at that and said, hey, maybe he went up the sideline. But I was not being smart because I was so incensed. This guy kept insisting on flying over to the spot where the carrier clearly was not there anymore. It doesn't have a cloaking device. You flying around there not seeing him means he is not there. And looking at the origin of his airplanes on the minimap, I thought it would have become readily apparent to our carrier commander that the enemy carrier is at least 2 squares farther up the map. All right, so he gets killed by the destroyer. Still trying to convince this guy to search over near this island. And he seems rather unwilling to do that. Now he's finally going to go over there a little bit. But then he just immediately turns right back around. And I think if he'd gone over all the way, he may have seen the enemy carrier. So I'm sorry, this is just trash play, you know. He was stuck in his head that the carrier was where he had spotted it at the one time, and it was not there anymore. All right, so in a minute here, we're going to see kind of a little bit disappointing gunplay of Gokaze. And what I mean by that is we're going to find the carrier. Now, he's not going to be where I thought it was, but he's certainly not going to be where our enemy carrier player thought he was. He's going to be much farther down the map, and we're going to have an inability to take him out. Now, I didn't switch from HE. I stuck with the HE because this HE is delicious. There is the enemy carrier, clearly not anywhere near where our carrier player thought he was. Meanwhile, I think the enemy destroyer killed another one of my teammates. I would happily kill the enemy destroyer if I was anywhere near him. Instead, we're going to start shooting down airplanes. I used a DFAA charge at one point. I can't remember. I think here in a minute we're going to engage the second one and turn into this torpedo plane sortie in order to better dodge the torpedoes. And I mean that in a very hopeful sense, because I think we end up taking one right in the noggin, because I totally didn't play that right. Anyway, you can see that advanced DFAA charge going off. We are going to turn and get all these turrets on target and continue to engage the carrier. Here we're going to just flick our tail and dodge the last torpedo, continuing to shoot down airplanes. But at this point, I'm like, I know the Furious is at an angle, which is why I'm still shooting HE, but I was hoping that we could have done a little bit more damage than we're doing to this guy. And I know you're thinking, hey, there's lots of time, man. There is lots of time. But unfortunately for me, that was probably the first good salvo in on the Furious. And then he's going to turn in. And so I'm going to have a very limited number of really good salvos. And nice hit there. We're under a minute. And again, no problem setting fires. We are going to put torpedoes out. Maybe a little too late. Quite frankly, prior to this, I was more concerned about airplanes and dodging his torpedoes than my own torpedoes. But I should have launched them earlier to give myself a fighting chance. There's where he turned in, and that's why I missed with that salvo. He's continuing the bombers, and I think he's going to lay another good hit on me right there. And that fire is going to stick because I don't have a damage con. But we're doing what we can. It's just not going to be enough. There's the high caliber metal. My teammates finally get in range and start shooting. No idea where the destroyer is. And he turned all the way in, so he's going to avoid the torpedoes. But time runs out on this battle. All right, here we are on the victory screen. High caliber metal, 105,733 total damage. We shot down 17 airplanes, so pretty close to that clear sky metal. 3 kills, looks like 11 fires, and 2 cap defended flags. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to keep Ijuin in this cruiser, the Gokaze, and the next one, and probably the Shintowo or whatever the hell the higher tier one is. I'm going to keep the tier 4 with shit, I can't remember any of their names. One of the other commanders is going to stay in the tier 4. Anyway, here's a look at the commander, Matsui Ijuin. Base trait, speed is my weapon. Slight increase in torpedo speed. Slight increase in movement speed. We got Fishy for more torpedo speed. And Makawa, that's the guy I'm keeping in the tier 4 destroyer. Jeez. You would think I never played this game or anything. All right, in row 1, we went with Burn It Down XXL. Row 2, Expose. Row 3, what am I saying here? Row 3, Look at Me Now. Row 4, Back in Stock. And legendary skills, the unique skill, Killing Distance, which gives you better torpedo concealment, more torpedo range, and extra torpedo damage the farther the torpedoes go. All right, we'll go look briefly at the Gokaze and see the boost to the torpedoes here. You can see they do a little bit more damage, probably a little bit more range, a little bit faster. Not a huge difference, but it's a difference that I think is meaningful, and so that's why I'm going to keep them here. Anyway, love to hear your comments. Like, comment, subscribe down below. See you on the next video.